live from the Counterpunch Media Mobile Studios in Grand Blanc, Michigan. It's time for real lives, real families, real fitness. It's time for Derek Noel Fitness.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 26 of Derek Noel Fitness Live. I had a look at that. It's already starting to get up in the numbers. There have already been 26 of these episodes going on, which is awesome. I'm just pulling up the live feed real quick. I've already got it shared, so we'll be able to jump right in just a second. I'm ready for today's show, though. This is going to be a really good show, especially with the holidays coming up. So if you have any questions before I even get started, if you have any questions, please make sure you drop them in the comments below so that I can see them and I can hopefully answer them. If you're looking for holiday-related questions, that's cool. I can answer those along the terms of what I'm going to be talking about today, which, by the way, is how to set yourself up for success. This can be taken many different ways, whether it's for a long-term goal that you have, a short-term goal. These ones are going to be specifically health and fitness related. And then I got a bonus fourth one that's going to help you in basically whatever you're really roaring to do. Real quick before I get started talking, though, if you could please give this video a share on your page to try and help out some other people who you think might need to get started, how to get set up for success. This is a topic that can go either ways. Whether you've never worked out before in your life, or you've never really been conscious of your health in your life, or if you're someone who's just who has already gotten started and you're kind of looking to kind of dial it in a little bit, or if you've been doing this for a while now and you just need a refresher on some of these things to help set yourself up to be able to do what you want to do. Because really you should be able to do what you want to do. A lot of people use excuses. Let's not use them. Let's just get after it. Let's find ways around those things. So, like I said, today's show is setting yourself up for success. I'm going to break this down into a few different parts because each one is going to be very important all on its own. I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time kind of breaking it down on each of the three of these. I actually had so many notes written for this that I had to pick and choose things that I wanted to talk about today. This is something I'm definitely passionate about, and if you think I'm missing something, again, drop it into the comments. If you have a question or you'd like me to follow up on something, let me know. I'd love to be able to answer this as completely as possible, and if not, also feel free to send me a message afterwards. I love chatting about this stuff. Being able to help people is literally why I am here and why I'm doing this. To be able to give everyone the tools they need to be successful long-term, because short-term success, especially in the health and fitness, if you're only going for the short-term, if you're trying to do things in a month, it's just going to rebound and not be a good look in the long term. So we have these three things. I'm going to call these the three pillars of health and fitness success. And I'm going to start with number one, which is the most important one, and that is your goal. I believe I did almost an entire show on goal setting, so I'm kind of pulling from that a little bit, but kind of condensing it down so you can get what you need in the short term. This is like a condensed goal setting, whatever the word is for like a quick short thing, like a little mini seminar that we're going within this show, so a little mini series. There's something called the triangle of goals, or the triangle of health kind of deal. There's a lot of different ways to go about this, and fun fact, I actually planned on having a whiteboard right here, but it wasn't working out super well. It was having a hard time showing up on camera, plus, real thin markers. So I'm going to help you visualize it. If you have a pen and paper out, which you might want today to be able to answer some questions that I'm going to be asking, draw a triangle. I don't care what kind of triangle. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to go all math nerd on you. Just draw a triangle. It doesn't really matter. On one end of that triangle, we're going to write the word performance. On another side of the triangle, we're going to write aesthetics or looks. And on the third one, we're going to go health and longevity. People who have known me know that I've talked about this a few times, but it is really important because a lot of people don't realize where they fall on that triangle when it comes to goals. So we have these three things: performance, aesthetic, health, and longevity. Within those, you can be losing fat. You can be trying to deadlift 500 pounds. You could be trying to have like ripped six-pack abs, whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is. You're going to fall on the triangle somewhere. A lot of people want abs, but they don't realize what they're going to have to sacrifice if they want those abs. If you want those rock hard, like just absolutely shredded bricks for abs, for example, your performance is going to be suffering because you're not going to be holding enough body fat for your body to be optimally performing, which means that you're going to be over on the aesthetic side and away from the performance side. And a lot of times, if you're trying to hang out at the 5 or 6% body fat that might be required for your abs to be showing up that much, it can impact your health. So chances are you're going to be in a very severe calorie deficit, which we'll talk about later. And while there's no such thing as starvation mode, your body will start to fight back in terms of your immune system starting to suffer and things like that, so your health and longevity markers kind of go down. So you can see where I'm going. By the same token, if I want to become the most powerful or the strongest man in the world and I want to deadlift 1,100, 1,200 pounds, by the way, that's basically the world record. It was 500 kilos. I think it actually just got broken, but I'll leave that to Eddie Hall to take care of. For those who don't know who Eddie Hall is, he was the first person to ever deadlift 500 kilos. Multiply 500 by 2.2, and that's how many pounds it is. So it's something like 1,100, 1,200 pounds, something crazy like that. If you're like that, you don't really care if you have abs or not, because honestly, the biggest thing is adding as much mass as possible to your body. Blowing up into the 350, 400 pound, 450 pound person, that's obviously not going to be super good for your health and longevity. It's not going to be good for the aesthetic because you're going to be a big old roly-poly trying to pull all that weight. But in the end, it doesn't matter because you're performing. Or if you just want to live until you're 110 and you don't care about working out and all you want to do is live a nice health-conscious life, the aesthetics, okay, they can be whatever they want. As long as I don't straight up have a gut, I'm good. That's another part. So kind of figuring out what your goals are and what your goals are not. I would say it's almost more important to know what your goals are not. So if your goal is to have a 500-pound deadlift, your goal is not to be as absolutely shredded as possible. That might be a secondary goal, and unfortunately, you're not going to be able to hit all of these things at the same time, as nice as that would be. You can hit all three of them throughout your life, though. After you hit these big numbers, powerlifting, you can go into more bodybuilding style, become more aesthetically balanced, and then once you do that, then you can move into longevity. Honestly, one of the best examples of that right now is Arnold Schwarzenegger. When he started out, it was about performance. He was trying to get as strong as he could. Arnold started out as a bodybuilder in Austria, but he was also powerlifting to help do that. He was a powerlifter before he was a bodybuilder. So he got a really strong base of strength, and then he went into the aesthetics with bodybuilding, obviously did very well there, won multiple Olympias, widely considered the best bodybuilder of all time. And now, if you see him, he started making movies, he became the governor of California, he's a lot more health conscious. He's actually started kind of watching more what he's eating because of the surgeries that he had from his previous life. So he's hit all three of them. He's in that health longevity right now to keep himself going as far as possible. With these goals, once we have what it is that we want figured out, we want to figure out what season we're in. You can think of goals or chasing your goals as what season you're in. Think of it like a sport. When you're in a sport, you're in the middle of the season. So like football season is mid-season right now. You have the off season, or the post-season, I should say. You have the post-season after the after in-season, where you kind of wrap things up. You're trying to peak. You might hit your peak. You might be trying to wean yourself off. You have the off-season where you're just not competing, period. You're just working on different things. And then you have preseason where you're ramping to go back into the season. Everyone's goals can kind of be thought of like this. If your goal is to look good on that cruise 4 months from now, well, we're probably in the preseason or the off-season right now. We're going to work on some skills in the off-season to help make your preseason and your season go better. If your goal is to go on a cruise in 3 weeks, we're in the middle of that season like right now. So figuring out where it is, if your goal is like Hawaii next April or May, we're definitely in the off season. Now is the time to help build those habits and go. So it might be things like gaining strength, putting on some muscle, which by the way usually go hand in hand, and things like that. So figuring out where we are in terms of that is really going to help you out as well. I don't know if anyone else has ever thought of it that way, but it is really important it's called periodization, to periodize your nutrition and your physical activity to go along with what your goals are. And last thing I want to talk about real quick when we're talking about goals is setting SMART goals. SMART, if you're a teacher, you've heard this a million times. SMART goals are specifically written, measurable, so there's an actual tangible way to measure them. Specifically written means they're concise and to the point, but they clearly define what you want to do. They are attainable. You can actually do it based on your lifestyle. If you are someone who goes out to the bar 4 or 5 nights a week and just binges 4 or 5 nights a week, those abs are going to be really hard to come by as a goal. They're realistic, which kind of goes hand in hand with attainable, realistic within the timeline, and they're time-bound. If you need to lose 75 pounds and you want abs next month, that's not going to happen. We need to get that weight off over time. So having that time-bound thing. So goals, super important, figuring out where we are, what we are aiming for, what we're not aiming for is almost more important so that we can kind of avoid it, kind of like a what not to do list instead of what to do list, to help make sure we're setting guidelines or sidelines to what we're doing. Second part is activity. So what activities are we going to do to help achieve our goals? We want to be able to figure this out. We're trying to set realistic, attainable things. Remember that. So if you're trying to get active and you want to be successful in health and fitness, activity is going to be a really good way because you start burning calories. And I purposely saved the nutrition part, spoilers, for the last one. We're talking about activity now. You have non-exercise activities, so things like going out for walks, walking your dog, getting up and moving to the desk, walking across the building to deliver things, walking across campus to go to your next class, things like that. Getting those steps in and doing those things, walking to and from the grocery store, like depending on where you park at the grocery store, can burn up to 50% of the calories in your day. So it's a really, really good way to burn more calories. Start really small if you don't do anything right now. If you're only getting 2,000 steps a day right now, if that, so say you have a desk job, you literally wake up, you go sit in your car, you drive to work, you come back home, you sit on the couch and watch Netflix for 4 hours, then you go to bed. You're probably at 1,500, 2,000 steps a day. I don't expect you to all of a sudden jump up to 15,000 steps a day. Start small. Maybe you're going to go for a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk during lunch. That'll add a few hundred steps, maybe 1,000 steps or so. And okay, I'm moving myself up. And then over time, you can add on. One of the biggest things that I've seen is people try and bite off way more than they can chew, and then they get overwhelmed, and then they don't do anything. And it's as motivated as people can be when they start out, once they realize how overwhelmed they're going to get, or how overwhelming all of the changes at once can be, they just shut down. So ask yourself some questions. Do you exercise regularly right now? Are you currently doing enough walking? These things are really important. I would say walking is more important than almost anything else. If you can get 10,000 steps a day and you get your nutrition mostly on point, a lot of the goals that you have, as long as they're not strength related, they will just naturally come. With working out, people think that they need to start working out all the time in order to start burning calories. Up to 30% of the calories you burn in a day comes from workouts. Usually it's between 10 and 30. Keep in mind, I said walking can be up to 50%. So let that sink in for a second. You can burn more calories throughout the day going for walks and hitting 10,000 steps than you will working out. And that's most people. If you're in the gym for 7 or 8 hours, these numbers can be skewed a little bit. So just, like I said, don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't dedicate yourself to working out 6 days a week if you've never worked out before in your life. I've run into people who are super gung-ho, they're going to eat super clean, they're not going to have any cheat meals, and they're going to work out 6 days a week for an hour and a half every single day. Well, number one, make sure it fits your schedule. If you're not doing any of that right now and you already have a super busy schedule, where are you going to fit it in at? Don't sacrifice your sleep and stuff like that to be able to do those things, especially if you're already only getting 6 hours of sleep. Don't be that person who gets 4 hours of sleep consistently and works out all the time. That's just, again, not a good combination. So start off, if you don't exercise regularly right now, ask yourself what you need to do. Can it be, I'm going to start exercising 2 days a week. I'm going to go to the gym 2 days a week. I'm going to go on a Monday and a Thursday. That gives me 3 days of rest in between. I'm going to feel great. It's going to be getting myself going. From there, okay, I got this 2 days down. I'm going to add a third day. So I might shift to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. Okay, I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to go 4 days a week. And then just keeping it rolling through that. Again, it's all about not biting off more than you can chew. I have had someone before who decided that they were going to work out 6 days a week all the time at Fit Body Boot Camp, and they came in for 6 days. It lasted about a week and a half, and then I never saw that person again. They didn't talk to me ever again. They didn't talk to anyone at the facility ever again. They just kind of fell off the face of the planet because they got super overwhelmed. Make sure that you're not doing those things that you're like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. You can do it. You just need to take the right steps to be able to do it. And like I was saying, make sure it fits your schedule. If it doesn't fit your schedule, you're not going to be able to sustain it. Then you're going to get frustrated and you'll either drop off, or that frustration is just going to make you more stressed. And honestly, the biggest thing that anyone can do to help themselves with fat loss is reduce the amount of stress in your life, whether it's from something going on. Again, I talked about it last week a little bit. You have this plate of food and your eyes are bigger than your stomach and you just keep throwing things onto it. All of a sudden, you're going to be like, holy crap, I'm never going to be able to eat all this. What am I going to do with all this food? Oh, I'm going to throw it away. And guess what those things you throw away are? They're the goals that you wanted that you couldn't do because you were too overwhelmed. So make sure you don't let that happen to yourself. Number 3. We have nutrition. Like I said, I was saving this one. It was a spoiler. Nutrition can be big, and it plays a factor in both of the ones above, which is why I wanted to save it for last. I didn't want to talk about activity after nutrition. So, number one, don't do fad diets, period. They're not going to help you. They're not sustainable. If they do help you, it's only going to be temporary. Then as soon as you stop doing them, you're going to gain weight back. Statistics show within 3 years, 75% of people who have lost weight doing a fad diet, or really any diet, have gained it back. Or within a year, sorry, I got it mixed up. Within a year, 75% of anyone who's dieted gains their weight back. Within 3 years, that 75% goes up to 90% of people gain their weight back. What's the point of losing that weight for an event if you're just going to gain it back? What's the point of dieting to fit into a suit if that suit isn't going to fit you once you buy it? Or a dress, or anything else that you're trying to buy and fit into or look good for. Who cares if you look good going to the beach next month if when you come back from the beach, you're just going to go right back and then you're going to gain it all back. And then guess what? You have to do it again. Why not just get yourself to the point where you can go out and enjoy the beach and you're not super self-conscious about how you look because you already know that you are where you want to be at. That's what most people are missing when it comes to the nutrition part. They want to binge eat and eat like crap, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, I'm going on vacation 3 weeks from now. I need to get myself in gear. 21 days is not enough to make any substantial change. You can make a small change, but anything substantial is not going to happen in 3 weeks. I am sorry. Any coach who lies to you and says that that can happen, they're lying to you. Small changes can happen. Anything giant and fantastic isn't going to happen in that short of a time span. The other thing with fad diets, and I usually pick on keto for this, and I'm going to again, is when you deprive yourself of an entire macronutrient profile, so an entire, basically, food group, you deprive yourself. That deprivation leads to binging. You know why you binge eat? Because you're trying to deprive yourself of it, and you feel that shame of not doing it. So when you do it, all of a sudden you think, oh, well, I'm already in it. I might as well just do it all. if you don't deprive yourself and you let yourself have a slice of brownie every once in a while, or you let yourself have that popcorn when you go to the movie every so often, you're not going to feel like you need to binge because you're allowing yourself to have some of it to help satiate it. Getting a large fry with a Big Mac, by the way, there's a video from a coach named Jordan Syatt. I'm going to reference him again in a few minutes. He ate a Big Mac every single day for 30 days, and he lost 7 pounds. He made an hour-long documentary about it. It's on YouTube. Shoot me a message later on, and I will give you the link to watch it, because really it is super freeing as someone who has any sort of eating food relationship disorder. Watch the video and you'll see what he's talking about. He wasn't trying to say McDonald's is healthy. It's really not. He's trying to say that in the end, calories are king, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So use your willpower, but enjoy the food. Everything that you eat is a choice. You're making a choice to eat it. In that video, Jordan got a Big Mac every day, but he made the choice not to get the fries with it. Because again, it's a choice. He has the power over it. That meal doesn't have any power with him. You can control what you want. You have the choice. It's free will. It's nice. Use it. So what are we going to do if we're not doing any of these fad diets? We're going to make things sustainable. Calorie deficit, the end. That's really all you need if you're looking for just total weight loss. If you're looking specifically for fat loss, you want to make sure we keep our protein levels up while we're in a calorie deficit. How many calories should you be eating? Again, I was talking about Jordan Syatt. He made it really simple for people. If you take your goal body weight, again, if you have that piece of paper, you can write this down. This is a really simple method. It'll get you in the ballpark of about where you should be if you want to lose weight. And this number will scare basically everyone watching this right now. But a lot of people overeat. So make sure that you are ready to eat some food when these numbers happen. You take your goal body weight. So we're going to use me, for example. My goal body weight is 170 pounds. I weigh 180-ish right now, just under. I'm at 179, so I'm going to lose about 10 pounds. My goal body weight is 170. I'm going to multiply that by 12. That puts me at 2,040 calories. And no, I didn't just do that math in my head. I did it earlier, and I just remembered the numbers. That's how many calories I need to eat in order to lose weight sustainably. It puts it in a slight calorie deficit. Now, if I want to be more scientific about it, I use something called the Harris-Benedict formula, which takes your age, your height, and your weight into account. You can do a modified one based on body fat percentage, but a lot of body fat percentage meters are pretty inaccurate. Unless you get like a DEXA scan or something like that, then it's more accurate, and you can use that. But again, this is more complicated. I'm not going to go into the formula here. If you look up Harris-Benedict, so Harris hyphen Benedict, Benedict formula, that'll bring it up into Google. Google's a wonderful tool. You could just click something and it'll give you the formula. You might have to do some converting from feet and inches into the metric units, so kilograms and centimeters. But that'll give you a more scientific number. And if you line the two of them up, there's really only a 200 calorie difference in between the two. So using this as a ballpark to lose weight is really good. If I wanted to figure out what my maintenance was, I would take my normal numbers, so 179, multiply that by 12, and that's going to give me a baseline, which is probably, like 150 calories, 200 over. So I'm in a slight calorie deficit if I go by that. That's why we use that goal body weight, because it automatically gives you the deficit that you need to be in. Second question that comes up a lot is, how many meals should I be eating? Everybody sees bodybuilders eat meals every 2 hours going, got to keep that metabolism rolling, bro. Fun fact, there's no actual science that shows that your metabolism slows down if you don't eat every 2 hours. The big thing is making sure you get enough calories in a day, or even enough calories in throughout the week. You can look at the weekly, so people who are shift workers might have a lower calorie count, or can even have a lower calorie count on the days that they're working because they can't. Nurses, I'm looking at you, but then the days that they're off of work, they can have their calorie intake higher, and as long as they're still in a slight deficit by the end of the week, they're still going to be on track to lose weight. Should you only eat one meal a day? If that's what really floats your boat, it's hard to put down that many calories in one meal sometimes. So like for me, eating 2,000 calories in a meal, I'm going to be eating junk food because I'm going to get really full if I'm trying to just eat 2,000 calories of meat and potatoes and veggies and some fats. It's just a lot of food. Should you eat 2 meals a day? If that's what floats your boat. I like 3 meals a day, that breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I'll throw a snack in. And then I have like a protein shake, which I guess would be considered a second snack. But, you know, however we go. So however many meals. If you like eating 6 meals a day, again, there's no scientific proof that shows that your metabolism stays up. What it does do, anecdotally, is it helps prevent that feeling of hunger from really hitting you. So if you're eating every 2 hours, it keeps you from feeling hungry. That's really where it works at. Because, excuse me, then if you don't have any willpower because you're also tired, then you just smash all of the calories at once. Number 3 is, when should you eat? Again, for most people, it doesn't really matter. If you're looking for a performance goal, I can tell you, you want to have a pre-workout meal about 90 minutes to 2 hours before it. That meal doesn't necessarily help fuel your workout, but it helps regulate your blood glucose. So you won't get so if you've ever gotten that feeling of getting super lightheaded in a workout, it's because your blood sugar levels are starting to do this, and your body doesn't really know how to handle that. So having that meal, which by the way should be protein and an easy to digest carbohydrate with low fiber and no fat. Why no fiber and no fat? Mainly because those two slow down digestion. We want to digest fast so that blood sugar, so the blood sugar can kind of get ready to regulate. After your workout, you do typically want to get protein and carbohydrates, so make sure you're in there. And for how long should you be on this diet? Honestly, if you're not getting tired of it, if you feel pretty good about it, you can probably stay on it for a while. It's really highly independent for how long you should stay on a diet. If you can stay on it forever, cool. If it turns into a sustainability issue, so if I'm working with a bodybuilding competitor where our goal is to get as low body fat as possible to step on stage, that's not going to be a sustainable diet. Anyone who has done a bodybuilding show diet can tell you it's not sustainable, but it's what we have to do because that health longevity, going back to that, and the performance doesn't matter at that point. We're just trying to get as lean as we can so we look as good as we can. So if it's, hey, we're doing this for another 3 weeks, cool, let's crush it. Or if this is just how I'm eating from now on, period, cool, let's roll with it. Finally, the fourth thing, the bonus fourth that I wanted to throw in is willpower. I hear a lot of times going, I just can't help myself but eat this thing. You can help yourself. Like I said, everything that you're eating is a choice. You just choose to place an immense amount of stress and shame on yourself for eating that. Don't. Use your willpower. Tell yourself that you have goals that are way more important than the 90 million Thin Mint cookies that you're going to be eating come Girl Scout cookie season, because your goals are more important than that. Again, don't deprive yourself. Have 1 or 2 Girl Scout cookies to help to just satisfy yourself, but don't feel like you need to smash an entire box because, oh man, I already had 2 cookies. I might as well go. Fun fact, I do that with Chips Ahoy sometimes with the milk. Like 2 or 3 cookies is 120 calories. I can kind of write that off and adjust really quickly. You know what I can't adjust? The full like 2,000 calories that the entire pack is when I smash it because there's a gallon of milk in my refrigerator. So if I keep myself to eating 2 cookies, then I'm good. I'm not telling myself, oh crap, I just threw my entire day away because I had 2 cookies. Use your willpower. You have the choice to put foods into your mouth and to achieve your goals. You have the choice to go out for a walk. In most cases, you have the choice to start exercising, whether it's just doing a couple push-ups in your room, or doing a couple bodyweight squats before you go to bed, or even going out and doing yoga. Yoga also counts as something like that because it helps burn those calories. In the end, everything you're doing is a choice. It's your choice to go achieve your goals. There is no excuse for not going for it. let's just crush it. Let's just get after it, and let's be successful in whatever we're doing. I'm tired of seeing people fail. If you want some help succeeding, please get a hold of me. I would love to help you out. You can always shoot me a message on here. You can find me on Instagram at the Derek Noel. Please make sure you click the link in my video earlier to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I found out how to do that directly, so you literally only have to click it. You don't have to try and go find it. And please make sure you like and share and drop a comment about something that you picked up. Have a great night, everyone.